Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. So we are running a little bit behind on time. So first of all, your excellencies, distinguished guests, VIPs, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending this P7 African and Caribbean War Memorial on Windrush on Remembrance Day. We are going to start with an interfaith ceremony. The first person I'd like to call is Professor Gus, who's going to do a libation, which will be followed by a Jewish prayer, a Muslim prayer, and of course we'll end with a Christian prayer. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, Professor Gus.
Of my heart, be acceptable in thy sight, O God. For this is not a time for piety, for anxiousness, or for platitude. Honor and glory to Elenu Mary, Mother, Father, Spirit, God of all creation. Ashik. honor, and glory to God who made us all equal and precious, sharing in the divine spirit, Jew and Gentile, Muslim and Christian, African and European, believer and non-believer, all precious in the sight of God, and none made superior to any other. Ashe. We call upon Egu, the spirit of our ascended ancestors. Ashe. We honor the spirit of all those who were massacred and exterminated in order that colonial powers might appropriate the lands to enable the expansion of mercantile capitalism and white supremacy. Ashe.
Ashe.
We honor the spirit of all those who made the ultimate sacrifice in imperial wars waged in the name of freedom, even when they themselves were kept and remained in bondage. Ashe. We honor the spirit of all those who, in pursuit of that fundamental instinct for freedom with which we are all imbued, were massacred and made collective victims of genocide. Ashe. We remember Paul Bogle and the martyrs of Morant Bay. We remember the martyrs of Amritsar. We remember the Mau Mau martyrs.
Ashe.
We remember the Hereros and the Namaquas.
Ashe.
We remember the martyrs of Sharpeville and of Soweto.
Ashe.
We remember the martyrs of Marikana.
Ashe.
We remember Steve Biko.
Ashe.
We remember Nelson Mandela, that terrorist whom the West reclaimed as a born-again freedom fighter, like Menachem Begin before him.
Ashe.
We remember you who gave your lives with others to defeat the tyranny and genocide of Nazism and liberate Jews from Hitler's death camps.
Ashe.
We acknowledge your sacrifice and audaciously speak on your behalf and say that you did not make that sacrifice in order that those whom you liberated from persecution and certain death might regroup and visit upon others that which Nazism did on an industrial scale in order to eradicate them. Ashe.
Brothers and sisters, special guest, Professor when I was much younger, I didn't actually think that this day had anything to do with me. I couldn't understand it, I couldn't relate to it. But our next guest is going to tell us how actually this has been history for a very long time that we just didn't know about. Our co-host, next co-host, is Niobe Thompson. She happens to be the great niece of Walter Tull of World War I. He was a World War I officer. Can you put your hands together now for Niobe Thomas, our next co-host?
Good afternoon, everyone. That's a story for another time, but thank you very much. It's my pleasure to introduce the Jewish
Time for acknowledgement, the time for diversity, the time for unity, the time for peace is every day. It's not today because we're
here for remembrance, it's every day. Today we remember those who have laid down their lives for our peace. But in the midst of those who've laid down their lives for our peace, there are those who continue to prevail to create harm. As a bishop, I stand today and I wear 3 hats. Hat number 1, as a bishop, I chose to look at the chaos that's in the world and how I could play my part in bringing peace. I discovered religion causes so much conflict and chaos. I took off the hat of a bishop. I'm a chaplain for those who are in our militaries. As a chaplain, I discover the role of war brings chaos in the midst of attempting to bring peace. Today I stand with you as a human being, and I ask you to stand with me, please, if you will.
Not able to.
I'm going to ask you to do something that might seem unusual, but it's for a purpose. I want you to, if you choose, hold the hand of the person next to you that is your neighbor that you did not choose. You didn't choose your neighbor, did you?
No.
Did you choose your neighbor?
No.
Did you choose your neighbor?
No.
I'm asking again, did you choose your neighbor?
No.
But if you want peace, you must stand side by side with your neighbor. Is that correct?
Yes.
Where's my preacher? Come with me. Where's my Jewish preacher? Where is he? Has he abandoned me?
Has he gone?
Where is the libationist? Where is Professor John? Please come with me. I'm not going to take much more of your time, but today, if ever we need to understand unity and diversity, it is now. Ashe?
Ashe.
I'm waiting for him. Give him a hand as he comes. Say it's time for peace. Say it's time for peace. It's time for peace.
It's time for peace.
Stand up. Oh God, you see, Lord, that in the midst of peace, there's always chaos. Father, in the nations where there is war, there are still men and women of peace and goodwill abounding. And Father, today we join as leaders and we have to raise up men and women of peace. Raise up men and women of goodwill. Raise up men and women that will stand together for humanity. Not religion, humanity. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
I think we have all witnessed something very special today.
Yeah.
And I hope that in the hearts of all of us, that we will remember that unity is not an easy thing to do. It is something we have to be conscious about, and it is something that we have to do, push through our discomfort, our levels of discomfort, and make unity happen. This is more than a photo op. This is us choosing to stand together. Thank you all very much. And thank you to Professor Gus John, to Rabbi Herschel Gluck, to Umar Mahmoud, and to Bishop Michael Steele. I'll now hand back to Nubian Jak.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to World War II veteran. But because of time, I'm going to first of all call 3 MPs. This part is really going to get hot. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome Florence Ashalomi, MP, Helen Hayes, MP, and Belle Ribeiro, MP.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Helen Hayes. I'm the Member of Parliament for the Dulwich and West Norwood constituency, which includes Windrush Square, where we are standing today. And I am so pleased to be here with my sisters who represent Lambeth with me, Belle Ribeiro Addy and Florence Eshalomi. It is a great privilege to take part in this very special ceremony today. And I want to start by thanking Jack and the Nubian Jak Trust for organising this important commemoration and for all that you do to make sure that this commemoration happens every year. This memorial has a particularly important place in our Remembrance Day commemorations, when we remember the sacrifice and service of all who helped to defeat totalitarianism and fascism in the First and Second World Wars, and those who've lost their lives in subsequent conflicts. It's important that when we are remembering and retelling, we remember and retell the whole story, and that we acknowledge with gratitude everyone who played a part. And that is what we are doing this afternoon here on Windrush Square, remembering the sacrifice and service of men and women from Africa, from the Caribbean and the wider Commonwealth, whose contribution has all too often been overlooked and written out of history, and whose service was all the more exceptional because of the additional challenges and injustices they faced in relation to racism and discrimination and the role of Britain in those countries. This year we are making our act of remembrance in the 75th anniversary of the arrival of the Empire Windrush at Tilbury Dock. All too often and incorrectly, the history of the Windrush is explained as the beginning of migration to the UK. But we must remember that our history of migration extends for millennia. It is part of our national story and it is part of our DNA. And that many of the Windrush passengers were coming back to the UK, having already served in the Second World War. These aspects of our history matter so much, and they matter so much now as we face a world in turmoil and as we face our national politics with the scenes that we saw on our streets in central London yesterday. It is by knowing where we have come from as a country that we can know where we are going in the future. It is by understanding our history in all of its complexity that we can begin to correct the wrongs of the past. That starts with acknowledging with deep gratitude the contribution of everyone who has served. And it starts with standing together, all of us together, against hatred and for peace.
Today, on this solemn occasion of Remembrance Sunday, we gather here to pay our heartfelt tribute to the brave souls of gratitude. We gather to honour those who valiantly stood against the forces of fascism defending the cherished values of freedom, those who in the crucible of the two devastating world wars made the ultimate sacrifice. These conflicts brought unimaginable destruction and claimed the lives of millions. On this day every year, we also say we remember all of those who have sacrificed their lives in subsequent conflicts. It's our solemn duty to remember those we have lost, and it's our collective responsibility to unite and declare never again. But what does never again mean when we look across the world, and in the time since the last World War, we have seen more genocide and more bloodshed? Enough for us to legitimately question if humanity has learnt its lesson. In 2023, we see war in Gaza, the Congo, Sudan, Yemen, and beyond, so many innocent lives needlessly lost. And in our area, profoundly enriched by the contributions of people from across the Commonwealth, we hold in our hearts the memory of the hundreds of thousands of soldiers from Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean who served and died for all of our freedoms. And every year we say we remember them, but over the years we have not remembered all of them. The sacrifice of those from the Commonwealth in both world wars were downplayed and disrespected. And to that I say, never again. And every year when we say we remember them, but people from Africa, Asia and the Caribbean want to address the imperial justice and equality reign supreme. And may the memory of the fallen that we honour here today be an enduring beacon of our commitment to a better world.
John 14:27. Jesus says, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." We stand united today, not afraid to call out some of the injustices still happening. We stand united today, not afraid to call out the racism that still exists. We stand united today, not afraid to call out the hate that is being perpetrated by some of the highest levels of our government. We stand united today, coming together to remember all the millions who gave their lives, including many from the Caribbean, African and the Commonwealth countries. I think back to growing up here and going to school just down the road. This memorial wasn't here, but I feel blessed to know that my children can now learn about the servicemen from the Caribbean, from Africa and the Commonwealth who gave their lives, who continue to serve our country with distinction. I thank you. It's important we gather this day to not just remember those who have gone, but those who continue to serve. And as my two colleagues have highlighted, the many conflicts that still exist across the world, it is important for us to look at how we as a country, what we have done in leading some of those conflicts. It is important in us to remember some of the wrongs that led to those conflicts. It is important for us to remember why it is important to look at reparations for some of those injustices. And we will continue to stand up for all humanity, continue to stand for peace, continue to say enough is enough with war. We cannot continue with war. And I pray that God continues to guide and bless all of us in all our different guises. And thank you again to Nubian Jak and everyone for organising today.
Thank you. Let's give it up one more time for our three MPs, Florence Eshnodi, Helen Hayes and Belle Ribeiro Addy. Thank you so much for that. So I do feel some warmth because this is a wonderful gathering. It's an international gathering. I feel power of this small gathering, but I feel pain that we have been forgotten and not acknowledged for so long. But it's wonderful that today we are doing just that. It's my absolute pleasure now to introduce our African military tribute by a special international guest, Colonel Abdizak S. Dagne, Kenya Defence Advisor. Can you make him feel warmly welcome?
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol I'm the Kenyan Defense Advisor. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank Dr. Jack of the Nubian Jak Community Trust and his committee for inviting me here today to the African and Caribbean War Memorial. I'm honored to join you today on this great occasion as we commemorate the Remembrance Sunday. Occasions of this nature give us opportunities for getting together to remember the departed colleagues and outstanding contributions made by the African and Caribbean colleagues in the service of their nations and humanity at large. In my speech today, I was told to give a tribute of the contributions of the African soldiers, and particularly the King African Rifle. And I felt that without sharing with you the history of the King African Rifle, I will not be able or will not be able to appreciate the contributions of these great heroes and veterans who have laid their all for us to enjoy what we have today. And as you might recall, the King African Rifle was formed in 1902 from units initially started in the late 1880s in Kenya, Malawi, Somalia, and Uganda to establish the borders and to stop slave trade. During both the world wars, that is the World War I and World War II, the King African Rifle battalions from Kenya, Malawi, and Uganda played a key role in the East Africa and fought with distinction against the armies of Germany, Italy, Vichy France, Japan, and gained battle honors in Somaliland, Abyssinia, which is modern-day Ethiopia, Madagascar, and Burma. The King African Rifles comprised of 6 battalions that included the 1st and the 2nd King African Rifles located in Nyasaland, which is the present-day Malawi, 4th King African Rifle in Uganda, the 3rd King African Rifle and 5th King African Rifle in Kenya, and the 6th King African Rifle in Somaliland. Remarkably, King African Rifles gallantly fought in major campaigns, both in World War I from 1914 to 1918 and World War II from 1939 to 1945. Through these campaigns, King African Rifles evolved professionally, thus imparting in the force a sense of dedication to duty and professionalism upon which the present days of our modern armies are founded. The 3rd King African Rifles distinguished its bravery in a number of engagements in the preceding years of World War I. For instance, the unit was tasked to maintain law and order in Jubaland, Somalia, what's present day referred to as Tanzania, in 1916. The 3rd King African Rifles was further engaged in a fierce battle against the German forces in a place called Narumombe, Tanganyika, on 19 July 1917. This battle led to the loss of many officers and men. Nonetheless, the battle experience of these survivors contributed to the battalion's victory against the German. It is in this consideration of this victory that the 19th July was set as a battalion's regimental day, referred to as the Narugombe Day, which is still commemorated in Kenya today. During World War II,
the World Wars. So it gives me so much pleasure to introduce to you now Neil Flanagan, MBE, and he will tell you a little bit. I'm going to wait for him to make his way. It's such a joy, and I think we should really appreciate that we have someone still in our midst who fought and served this country. Thank you so much for your service, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I welcome you all who have turned out in this cold weather to pay tribute to those who have made the sacrifice to come and serve this nation and to keep the then Commonwealth together. we from the West Indians gave ourselves free, did the dedication, suffered among those many of our forefathers who died, so that Hitler did not have the sway. We can only suppose that as life goes on, that Hitler was a bad man, he wanted to rule the world, and it would then be, we would not be here as West Indians, notwithstanding the changing roads in this world. So my great goodness goes out to all of us, and thank you again for being here, and the contribution made by my brothers and sisters in bringing peace to the nations of this world. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, because this is Neil's 99th year, we are going to let off symbolically balloons that say 90 and 9. So, let's do it. Let's cut it. Neil, cut that in there. Send that into
It is indeed an honor and a privilege to do this act in memory to those who died and to those who survived, and to those who from the West Indies and the Caribbean who served the nations, this country at that time. Thanks be to God. Should I let it go?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Neil. And again, ladies and gentlemen, MBE. Okay, before we have a 2-minute silence, we are beginning to catch up. We're about 15 or 20 minutes behind. I'd like to introduce you to the chair of RAFA. Bending down. I'd like to introduce you to the chair of the Royal Air Force Association. Ram Raker is a very special man, a very special friend, and he's going to read that revolutionary poem, which it is alleged Winston Churchill used. It was written by a Jamaican poet, and it's called If We Must Die. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a Don, Peter Ram Raker.
Good afternoon. Namaste. Salam alaikum. Right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Namaste. Salam alaikum. If We Must Die, a poem by Claude McKay. If we must die, let it not be like hawks, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while around us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monster we defy shall be constrained to honor us through death, though dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back. Thank you.
So beautifully die. so beautifully well done, actually, because some of us did die. And so that was well delivered. That was my attempt at comedy. I'm not a comedian, but it is wonderful to have so many of you here. Are we ready for? Okay, can we bring welcome Jack back now? Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, when I designed this war memorial, I had people like Neil in mind. I had people like Alhaji Granshi. He was the first British soldier to fire a shot in World War I, an African and a Muslim. And at the end of World War I, we had something called an armistice. And right now, we're going to have the last post, which will be followed by a 2-minute silence. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's be respectful. Can you stand, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. Please take your seats. The march past, but before we do that, I'd like to invite back to the platform Professor Gus, our Rabbi, Umar, and the Bishop. Please. Jacqueline?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for all that's actually present here today. As we gather here, our emphasis is on unity and peace. We will be conducting a sand ceremony. The aim is to bring humanity, peace. We say there's no difference between us. The difference is what we create ourselves. So as we conduct this ceremony, we'll have a rabbi, Muslim leader, and a Christian leader here, all gathered together. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know what's going on, the cover of the glass is red. That represents us, our human blood. 1, 2. The content is our faith. We have different faith, blood. And now we are going to mix
actually just witnessed is the coming together of people, the coming together of faith, and the coming together to say there's no differences between us. None whatsoever. The differences is what we create ourselves. As you see, there's each leader had a red glass. They had no idea what the colour of the sand symbolised or the colour of the glass. And the glass is to represent the blood that prevails throughout each and every one of us. No difference. And that's our main focus of today, is that we're coming together as one. Not what the politician says, all the other world leaders. We've got to do it ourselves. The main emphasis is what we can do and what we can come together and say as one people. Thank you.
Thank you. because of the rain, let's start to speed things up. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker, our keynote speaker, ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome the wonderful, the irrepressible Major Kidane Kuzlan MBE. Thank you.
New ones as well, so thank you for gathering with us and many of the service people you've seen all day for this day of remembrance. I've served in the British Army for 15 years. Since the age of 16, I've been the most junior soldier, and I now serve as an officer. Like many here today, and like those who've supported from the armed forces as volunteers, I have fought, and I know the sacrifice this monument behind us represents. Like you, I come here to remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms we cherish. The millions of men and women from every colour and creed who served in World War II showed us that no matter how dark the time gets, united, we can conquer anything. Their service made the social tapestry that we see in Britain today deeper and richer for their sacrifice. It is that legacy of service that I cherish with you today. When I think of the magnitude of their sacrifice, I'm reminded that one day of service is not enough to repay them for the freedom we hold dear. Therefore, when I remember today, I feel a question unspoken from those who served before me, deafening in its silence, urgent in its absence. A question asked me, what am I doing? What do I do to enhance that legacy they have left for us? That is why I serve. Because through service, I remember their sacrifice every single day. In every deed I do, I remember my duty to enhance their legacy so that people I will never meet will live a freer, more fruitful future. As I look at you, I see the same desire to keep their legacy. To one another, to enhance their legacy for those who've passed and for those who'll succeed us. We serve to lead the next generation to a brighter future, and in doing so, inspire them to take up the call of service. I hope this year you're feeling your ancestors on your shoulders, calling you to service as I do, calling you to acts of service for your family, for your community, and for your country. I hope those acts of service in the coming year make the day that we gather on next year a little bit brighter. Every day we will remember them. Thank you.
Thank you, brothers and sisters, one more time. MBE. Okay, so we're going to keep it moving now. So up next we have the Brixton Line Drummers International March by Parade of World Peace. Can we put our hands together and make them feel warmly welcome?
That table. Jack probably forgot. Is it? Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Wasn't that awesome? One more time. Come on, a bit more energy. I know it's cold. We are coming close to the end. Thank you so much. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to keep it moving swiftly. Remember Our Heroes anthem by Alexander the Great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Alexandra's going to give us song. What's he going to sing today? I wonder.
Of our heroes we should be proud, calling their names out loud. When the whole world had gone to war, Africans and Caribbeans have given the score. The British government came and asked us to help the mother country, and many volunteered right away to rid this world of tyranny. So remember our heroes who left homes and wives and journeyed to Europe just to fight for all our lives, to shake off our forefathers' shackles and gyves. Because of them, freedom survived. They were proud to don uniform and to face the eye of the storm. Boys too young would lie about their age, filled with keen and justified rage. The Caribbean regiment fought for freedom and future equality, and formed a bridgehead for generations to come, for both you and me. So remember our heroes who left homes and wives and journeyed to Europe just to fight for all our lives, to shake off our forefathers' shackles and gyves. Because of them, freedom survived. Now many thousands left their home shores to assist in both the world wars. And if Hitler had had his way, there might be no black people today. The Ministry of Defense once sought to play down their contribution, but without them you could not call the day a true commemoration. So remember our heroes who left homes and wives and journeyed to Europe just to fight for all our lives, to shake off our forefathers' shackles and gyves. Because of them, freedom survived. Because of them, freedom survived.
gentlemen, we are about to end the ceremony by laying a wreath. If you'd like to lay a wreath on behalf of an ancestor, please do so. First of all, we're going to have our distinguished guests lay their wreaths. And then we're going to have members of the public. If you'd like to lay a wreath,
How are you? Respect. Come and let us something. Come on, DJ. Come and push that for the youth. Come and follow him. You have to come in there, man. Come on. Ah, you. Yeah, man, take one for the youth. Them. Come on. Ah, come on, my brother. Yeah, man, we give them for the youth. Them. Ah. Give them for the youth. Yeah. Thank you. Ah, where them youth there? Come on, darling. What she do? Tell her to come in with you. And come and live with your dad. Ah. Yeah, man. What you say?
Barbados. Barbados. Belize. Botswana. Dominica. Eritrea. Ethiopia.
Vicious.
I mean, cars around there.
Where there is food and drink and beverages, there's going to be guest speakers. Brother Bendeka, the wonderful Brother Bendeka legend. You have to hear this man. He's extraordinary. There are other guest speakers. I've got brain fog, so I can't remember who they are, but that doesn't matter. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Ja, for holding off the rain again. Thank you, everybody. Love. See you next year. Thank you. And thank you to my co-hosts. And thank you to everybody who helped making it possible. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's not happening. Okay, I'll tell you what.
Them in succession. So first of all, we will have Rabbi Herschel Gluck, followed by Umar Mahmoud, and followed by Bishop Michael Steele, if you will, please. Thank you very much. So first to the stand is Rabbi Herschel Gluck.
very glad to be here today because we are all in this together. Today is a day when we remember people who fought, who gave their lives in order that we should be free, in order that all human beings, whoever we might be, will be treated with dignity and human respect as befits a grandchild of Adam and Eve. Because every single human being, whoever he or she may be, is created in the image of God himself. And therefore each and every human being needs to be treated as befits someone who is created in God's image. And that is what today is about. Remembrance Sunday is about the time when there were people who felt that they were better than others. During the First World War, those who mistreated and experimented on people in Namibia, as it was then German Southwest Africa. And later the same people committed a Holocaust against the Jewish people and others because they felt that some people were less human than others. And today we pray that all of us together see the image of God in each other, whoever the other may be, and realize that we are not other, that we are really one, because we are all one people under one God who created each and every one of us, however different we might think we look, but we are all in his image. And we pray that from now on, we should have mutual respect. We should have harmony. We should see the other not as the other, but as part of our great family who we all respect and work together with. There are those in society who want to drive a rift, who want to divide society. But today we have to remember, if we divide society, then we are all prey to those who want to destroy us. We have to unite. We have to work together with mutual respect and mutual harmony. And by doing that, we will create a better future for ourselves, for our children, and for all our descendants, please God. My blessings to each and every one of you and every one of us for a better today, for a better tomorrow, for a better future. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to start off with a passage from the Holy Quran, as I do every year, from the Surah Al-Hujurat, chapter 49, verse 13. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. How about now? So I'll start off with a verse from the Holy Quran, as I do every year, from the Surah Al-Hujurat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. The translation to the nearest meaning: O humanity, indeed we created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may know one another, not that you may despise one another. Surely the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous among you. Allah is truly all-knowing, all-aware. I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak here once again. Professor Gus mentioned some stalwarts of peace, Nelson Mandela being one of them. And what better globally recognized series of events from Friday's Armistice Day to today's Remembrance Sunday to remind us of the need for peace and the call for a ceasefire to support geopolitical peace across the world that impacts every single... Is it gone again? And the call for a ceasefire which impacts every part of our world, including this borough of Lambeth. I've had calls and messages from MPs and from others reaching out to the community to find out what they can do to support people in our local area. What is the armistice? It was an agreement to end the fighting of the First World War as a prelude to peace negotiations. What are we seeing in the political landscape that's affecting us, you might wonder? I think the events of recent days have shown us that if nothing else, faith communities don't stand together, we will only see far-right extremists attack us all. Whether you're Muslim or Christian or Jewish or black or white or Asian, Arab, makes no difference. They don't like any of us. And if we don't stick together, we know what starts to happen. If we don't learn from history, and we can't stand by watching the atrocities take place, then what do we think that's going to happen? I have to say that we must get out of our own way, often overthinking, overcomplicating issues. But if we don't do that, we will never see peace. And I want to see peace for our future generations. I hate to think what my daughter and my son sitting there in the audience and what their kids may end up seeing. Lambeth has a very, very strong faith-based community. We often come together. Now, faith groups are involved in all facets of life in Lambeth in particular, whether that's housing, whether that's charities, whether that's business. And I think interfaith community work, both in times of need and proactively, is something that Lambeth is very good at. And I hope and I pray that for events like this to continue and for people like us to come together often so that we can make a difference and hopefully lead from our small borough of Lambeth, lead the world towards peace. Thank you very much.